Oxygen will be starting on attack. We'll jump right into the ban phase.
Now, this might not be an interactive match, but those watching on the twitch.television at the moment, please join in and wish everybody good luck, have fun. That would be appreciated. It's been a very long time since these teams played each other, so it's going to be fun to see stylistically how they match up in this map. And we're obviously treated to 3 different maps. Consulate, Clubhouse, and Cafe are the 3 on the docket. Clubhouse is the decider. It might not be needed, but Consulate and Cafe are a certainty, and they both tend to play out a little bit differently. Consulate's a very linear map. You've seen teams eschew that top floor bomb site now. They like to play the downstairs. They like to play the Tellers and Archives bomb sites, and they usually always defend that top floor. It is pivotal for the defense. Whereas Cafe, same thing, actually. In Cafe, they've eschewed that top floor bomb site. They leave it just a bit of room between the enemies and them, whether they're defending on the second floor or that first floor. Operator bans are Hibana, Nomad, Mute, and Valkyrie. Worth noting that both Ace and Malusi are now in play. They are out of competitive quarantine, or whatever we've officially dubbed it as. They can be used. Additionally, Echo is still removed from play, so he doesn't need to be banned, and he won't be used by either team.
So I'd like to point this out because I feel like it has some value. DarkZero has a tendency as a team to ban operators on the other team that are statistically relevant on the map they're playing on. So Oxygen, for example, if we narrow our scope to just Consulate, Hibana, well, Nomad too, but Hibana as an operator sees a lot of play and actually contributes more to Oxygen's success on attack than any other attacking operator except for Jackal, and he's only been played 1 round, so that's statistically irrelevant. So DarkZero going out of their way on their attacker ban to specifically target the tools that Oxygen use to win more often than not on this map. We see bans based on stats plenty. It's not an unusual thing, but it is definitely something that DarkZero have consistently been doing over the last few stages or so. Now, as we get into the actual round, there's something else interesting going on. We're seeing a very heavy setup on this top floor.
Not really that surprising. I mean, this top floor is going to be an important site to fight over, and OXG will miss out on DZ's spawn peak. Foxay in particular would have been the one that would have crossed paths with the Jaeger, Ash Jaeger. That seems to be a battle to the death. And Foxay is by the main lobby doorway, and don't be deceived, those of you that are relatively new to competitive Rainbow Six, even though Foxay is but a few steps from that B bomb site. The way that DZ have fortified their defense is going to slow them down. You can see the hatch opened up. Eclipse has shot out much of the floor inside of meeting, or projector as it's referred to as there happens to be a projector in there, though the official term is meeting. What this means is that you as an attacker can't just push on in because you're going to be confronted with a defender watching you. In this case, the entry from OXG is going to be over by admin. And the first man that's going to need to anchor down this part of the map is Eclipse. He gets droned out. The smoke is going to be playing behind that table. And I have no doubt that OXG determined his location, and they're going to begin to pressure him. 3 bodies it looked to be in this position. You got the Sledge hanging on upside down rappel. Slash just swings right in. There he is, the man of the hour. Discussed in the preamble. He's going to get the very first pick of the matchup and the very first pick of the round.
Eclipse had a struggle in his last match versus TSM, so he's not going to be able to correct that here and now. But there's still time left in the map. In this round, DarkZero is still holding on to this top floor. They have lost projector control, but look at the time being burned right now. This is solid for DarkZero. They're not stressing too much. Pressure going on into the main lobby, though, and it looks like an attempted plant, but Hot and Cold from Spiral Stairs will shut down Slash as he attempts to go for that plant. He will get a second as well as he peeks around the statue. That's big for Hot and Cold, looking for a third, but he finally is addressed by Laxing from Visa, who takes a second fight and wins that one as well. Hyper going down, and Oxygen with a 1-man advantage make it a 2-man advantage, just leaving Skies in a 1 versus 3. He's got 2 lit opponents, but it's not going to matter as Laxing, right time, right place throughout the round, and Oxygen will take the first.
Laxing versus his old team. How's that for a funny end to the very first round? Of course, when OXG was known as Reciprocity, Laxing and Skies were long-term teammates, and it was Skies that left the team to join DarkZero. Now, obviously, there's been some changes since then to the roster. Not everybody on it was on at the same time, but just a bit of humor and history for those of you that are watching. I liked how bold Oxygen was to just crash into the main bomb site, hit the deck when it comes to lobby, and force DZ to scramble to try to fix that. Now, the moment that Eclipse was removed from the floor directly above the lobby, DZ had to try to guard a push from a couple different ways. One, you can have where Skies was, somebody playing inside of the antechamber. That's the hallway that leads from the bomb site's piano over to lobby. It's also where the bathroom happens to be. Hot and Cold patrolling on spiral stairs is a very common place for somebody to play as well. You can watch the long desk above. You can cover over towards Visa if somebody chooses to push through that area, or inside a main lobby. And Hot and Cold very narrowly wins the round for his team, because losing 2 players to that position on spiral can be very damning, especially if you have to go back and fetch that diffuser. But for Oxygen, they had one member that was close enough to the spiral stairs. That was Laxing, who his tussle with Hyper probably could have broken Hyper's way, but Laxing manages to play around that pillar and stay alive and then punish the Maestro for it. That was a bit of good fortune on Laxing's side and a bit of an error from Hyper's. Regardless, once that happened, the remaining members of DZ were buried over on the side of the map that wasn't particularly relevant. It's the west side over by Piano, and they had to fight their way back with OXG having a numbers advantage and this map being so linear. You're going to essentially have to be fighting your way out alive, and that's a hard thing to do. And when you look at how close these teams are here in North America, it's no given that one team is going to be superior than the other when it comes to gunfights.
Bottom floor defense this time. One panel left unreinforced. Likely deliberate. I mean, we don't see either of these teams make mistakes like that really at all. So DarkZero just leaving an opening on the wall, maybe to apply pressure to an attempted hard breach. We'll see how it pans out moving forward. With the Mira in play, it's difficult to actually make a push by the garage, though not impossible. This is not like her best site, but she can be useful here. She will take out Slash early on, so great job there to Houghton, getting that long-range fight. Surprised he's not using the 1.5, and I guess he just doesn't feel like it's necessary here. And he did get the job done. One of the hard breachers done away with, the hard breacher done away with, and now Oxygen will struggle to open up drops or otherwise moving forward.
This is going to be where the real challenge comes in, because you're likely going to have to fight for Yellow Stairs control and have somebody go over towards Spiral. Excellent patience now from Eclipse, as he's going to be on the hunt, and he gets a very easy kill on the Vertical, who doesn't see nor know of the position of the Vigil. Hot and Cold finds yet another, this time with the C4, doesn't use the gun, sight misalignment, sight issue, whatever you want to call it. Eclipse has made his way in the bathroom, and Bio's got that position held down. Firing away at the wall. He knows there's a rotate, but nobody's going to give him an inch right now. Laxing is not too far off on spiral stairs, and Eclipse is just pivoting around. There you go, another kill for Eclipse. 2 for Hot and 2 for Eclipse on the round. Laxing is the last one up, and who is going to be lucky enough from DZ to find him now? Laxing in a 1v5 is still a terrifying prospect for teams. He's won them a couple times this season, especially a clutch on Cafe that we saw just a couple weeks ago. But he's going up against a pretty tough bout of competition, and he gets spotted inside of the main lobby. Doesn't know if anybody's upstairs. The diffuser is miles away, and DZ is going to do what DZ does best. Be patient. They'll sit down on the bomb site, and this is just a formality because the round is completely out of their control. Laxing will fire away, and it's Hyper, actually, to take care of it. Neither Eclipse nor Hot and Cold, who both picked up 2 kills, are included in that fracas. A flawless round will give DZ their very first round.
Well done there to DarkZero. Their roam was especially lethal, as I'm sure all of you noticed. Eclipse not only managing to get that lead-off kill, but persisting on the top floor. That thorn in the side of Oxygen's roam clear really did end up causing the bleed out of the attack. And overall, as you said, a flawless round. You really cannot question rounds like that. I like what we're seeing so far from both of these teams. I think it's telling of a really close match, which is what everyone would expect going into, you know, the decider match for first and second in North America, or rather in the US division. So with that done, DarkZero know that they've got the capacity to roam really well upstairs. The big difference maker in that round, I think, was when they shifted Eclipse out of Projector, where he was trapped, and allowed him to roam more freely on that top floor. That obviously worked out really well for DZ. They're going to switch him onto the Mozzie, and he'll be able to have more of a solo presence as Mozzie is able to deny information. That 1.5, he is exceptionally lethal on the Roni. And just in general, he'll probably be a force to be reckoned with on the top floor, as he was last round with that Vigil. Also setting up plenty of rotates on the top floor to try and extend the presence of anyone who plays up here on the defense. Those windows are probably just opened up for either A, delay, distraction, or B, Eclipse is going to go for a C4 play on one of the repellers.
One thing with the one thing with defending on Consulate is that you can invest in admin. It happens. We've seen DZ do it before, especially with Eclipse, or well, mostly Eclipse playing in the corner. I think he's done it as Wamai. I think he's done it as Mozzie, and now here he goes again. You can also stick a Jaeger in that corner with a couple ADSs and waste a lot of time. If memory serves me correctly, we actually saw DZ stick 3 people inside of admin one time when we were casting, and obviously not all 3 stayed there the entire time, but they had good coverage because you can play off of those windows as an attacker and force out the defenders, especially if you take it from down below, because the entire floor beneath you is going to be opened up. So it looks like Eclipse is going to be set up just to play over there solo, as DZ have a number of people all over the map.
Ooh, this is going to be use of Smoke and Selma. The first one was shot, but you can see the last Selma actually being used, covered by the smokes now. The bathroom wall will be opened up, and Foxay gets the lead-off kill onto Skies. He's going to actually use that to repel into Piano and start a plant. Oxygen extremely swift on this objective play, and there's no one from DZ to stop it. Post-plant scenario now, at least DZ is fragging out. They will get the man advantage, but will it matter? The question is going to loom over their heads as this round continues to play out. Hot and Cold gets slashed. Now it's all on Foxay and Biologic. Looks like Foxay playing outside, ready to go up into CEO and play the diffuser from above. He'll do just that. As he gets control above, he needs to open up a hole. So, step number 2. Step number 3 is staying alive on this angle. He sees his opponent, but dies to a C4. Eclipse, amazing play, and down goes Biologic. DZ retake their own bomb site and manage to disable that diffuser.
Impressive stuff from DZ. Maybe a bit too much haste from Oxygen. They saw an opportunity to get into Projector, or to Piano rather, with nobody watching, so they take it. Foxay gets the pick, and then Amaru's right in. Amaru's up top as well, showing that even though we are in a utility soak meta where the name of the game happens to be explosives, that you can still get a lot of value out of an operator like Amaru for some of those cheeky plays. Now, the problem was that Foxay upstairs inside of console office trying to fend off the defenders that are going to be disabling that diffuser. Hard to do when you're in a 2v4. You have to watch the stairs, you have to watch connector, you have to watch long desk, because it's very easy for them to send 2 people upstairs to punish you, while one goes for the diffuser and the other hunts down Biologic. Just what it appeared that DZ did. They sent one person upstairs, but then they had another with the nitro cell on hand down below as Mint was going for the diffuse, and Bio had no choice but to swing into action from yellow stairs, and unfortunately for him, the easiest route to get from console office to yellow stairs happens to be yellow stairs, which is where we saw the final member, which I believe was Hyper, who finished off Biologic. Just bad timing for Oxygen. They also had the coverage that I think was good, but you had a 1 HP vertical as your only person watching that main lobby, and he lost the fight to Eclipse. And I mean, 1 bullet is going to fell you at that point. Vertical's good, but you're playing a numbers game at that point, and you come out on the losing end of it. So I liked what we saw at OXG, and I definitely think that that's a viable strategy for the future. Teams will certainly wise up to it. We saw Space Station actually try very similar strategies where they just get into Piano and immediately try to plant. It works, but DZ's retakes have always been strong, and that round was no exception.
That was a nice C4 there from Eclipse. It went out to just beneath the CEO windows, but there was nobody actually standing there on Oxygen's side. So, damage done to Slash, but no kill. Roam continues upstairs, but as you can see, the different clear from Oxygen is going to force the roamers over to the east side of the building. To clear this round for the attack is starting west, moving east. It's the opposite of every other round, where normally it's the admin office you begin with. The mirror windows facing into admin as such are going to be basically useless for these defenders who are trying to delay on this top floor. At some point, you'll probably see them shoot their own mirror window to try and gain an extra angle on the attack coming from the west side. Right now, no action. Oxygen are trying to clear out not only the top floor on the west side, but also the middle and the bottom floor. They need to do this so they don't get flanked at any time throughout this round. Second mirror window placed in security. Now, this is dangerous for the attack to address, but they're going to do their best. And, ooh, that's big. Slash gets an opportunity
Nice
onto
read.
hot and cold. And down goes Pulse, your best information gatherer on this site.
Slash had a great game the other week, the one that was required of them to beat Space Station to be the first team to qualify for the major, and another huge game from him would be extremely helpful. And so far, he's only got 2 kills, but they've both been pretty high impact. So, I mean, what more can you ask? Obviously, he hasn't been the statistical standout on the team, but we're only 3 rounds in, and DZ have been sharper, and the stats reflect that. So, you pick off the Pulse. That's a huge operator. That's a C4. That's your intel. You're going to need to scramble to try to take care of that. It leaves you with a single C4. That's not the place that you want to be in when you are defending a bomb site, where the strategy for most teams is simply to blow up your opponents from below. Slash, a bit of a missed opportunity. Doesn't see Skies playing inside of storage. An easy pick for the Vigil. Vertical refrags. There goes a grenade shrugged off by Mint as he drops Biologic. Goes for the re-engage, but he can't get past Vertical. So Vertical picks up 2 kills and will need to now assume control over that diffuser. OXG have a numbers advantage. That's now gone at the hands of Hyper. Playing down at the bottom of these stairs. He'll engage yet again. He's down. Laxi and Eclipse will finish him off. Diffuser being planted by Vertical down below inside of the server area of Archives. Vertical now pop up. He's got great aim, but he looks the wrong way, gets smoked by Eclipse. The diffuser is theirs, and yet again, another good retake from DarkZero. They'll go up 3-1 once they finish disabling this diffuser.
All right, so let's take a little bit of a dive into the mentality of Oxygen and what appears to be their game plan throughout this match so far. We've seen only 4 rounds of this attack half for Oxygen on Consulate, but one thing has become abundantly clear. Oxygen is putting almost overemphasis on the objective play. It seems like the diffuser getting down is all that they can think about, and it's actually causing more problems and more harm than good right now for Oxygen's attack, because DarkZero is very wisely not putting up a hard wall preventing that objective play, but rather, you know, death by 1,000 cuts as Oxygen attempts to get the diffuser down. And it's really showing in the gameplay, not just in that round, but pretty much throughout this entire half. Oxygen try to get control of the site. They get the diffuser down. They're losing manpower all the while. DZ on the retake, absolutely lethal. They win all their retake fights, and then it's a disable. I like what I'm seeing from Oxygen. I think it's fantastic. This focus on objective play is really smart, especially on Consulate. You and I, Parker, we've both talked at length about how Consulate is one of the hardest maps to retake a post plan on from most sites, and that's, again, that is another thing that aids the plan for Oxygen. It makes sense strategically, but it's not working out so far. Oxygen just continuing to lose their fights on that entry, regardless of getting the plant down. That struggle, it seems to just never go away.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
I mean, there's a couple bomb sites that really come to mind, but I mean, retaking Teller's Archives is a challenge if your nitro cells don't go off, because your only ways up, really, are the Visa stairs and Spiral stairs. Very, you know, it's relatively simple for a team to just hold those 2 stairwells. You can't really fight your way out of that, and they'll have the advantage because they'll know where you're coming from. You're not going to know where they are. Garage, obviously, is a complete and utter nightmare. You just plant the diffuser, get out of there as far away as you can, and use sites with superior magnification and play far enough back. It's a very big challenge for the defenders to know, once again, where you are and be able to out-aim you. So, just those 2 bomb sites alone, then you think about lobby. Once again, you can walk to the door, get the plan off, and then escape. So, yeah, I mean, DZ are making it look relatively easy, but no, this is really impressive stuff with how they've been able to determine the location of the OXG members and then punish them for it, all while managing the clock. So we'll see, though, if a post plan is even necessary here, because DZ deceptively finished that cycle 3 rounds in a row. They won Garage, they won Lobby, they won Tellers. Now, it might get more challenging because they lost Hyper, but Eclipse has been having a great game so far. 7 kills to his name, only a single death, and that was kill number 7 that we just witnessed, punishing Vertical, who has the most kills on OXG, though not far behind him is Laxing. Additionally, 90 seconds have fallen off of the clock here, and that is a troubling situation for OXG because they still don't have the control they want. Trying to figure out Eclipse's location as Fox A is on the hunt, but you have to be mindful of that clock.
Laxing trying to cut off rotations here on a very long angle. He's got the information for it. Specifically, he's hunting Eclipse. Now, Eclipse is likely to see successful on this cross when he goes for it. Right now, Eclipse... Oh! Through the wall! What a read! Eclipse takes down Slash. I don't think he had information. He'll hear the sledge above him on the drop. No kill for either player there. There's the drop from the sledge. Biologic reads the reload incorrectly. Eclipse with a triple kill in this round. Laxing and Fox A now continuing to try and hunt down this Vigil. And finally, Oxygen will get the better of Eclipse. But at what cost? The round is all but over at this point. Fox A and Laxing have a chance. We've got the garage open. We've got 40 seconds. And they have full HP on both of them. Plenty of utility as well. Even 4 smokes. So it's not over, but it's likely over. It's going to come down to whether or not Laxing and Fox A can show us some heroics. Nothing happening so far. Very slow on the decision-making here for Oxygen, which will leave them with barely any time for the execution. Trying to address the Teller's player. It's the Mira, who will go down to Fox A. That's big. 2v2 now. But only a few seconds to get into the site and find these last 2 frags. Gas canisters making that especially difficult. Fox A gets another, though. It's all on Mint. He needs to stay alive, and he won't be able to. Oxygen, a huge clutch. A 2 versus 3 with barely any time on the clock. And they keep their chances alive, managing some really important frags in that round.
Fox A taking matters into his own hands, popping the hatches over by Visa, and then taking the opportunity to drop, and there was some misplay from DZ that started right there on your screen. The Mira decides to swing on out when they could have just collapsed farther into the bomb site and realized the time was very much on their side. DZ stood pat, and I do wonder if some of it was DarkZero not knowing the exact location of the Oxygen players until it was too late. You try to smoke off cafeteria, try to smoke off double doors at the bottom of the spiral stairs, and they're just going to trudge right through. You've got 2 of the best players on OXG still in the lobby in Fox A and Laxing. And if Laxing can pull off 1v4s on his own, just imagine what happens when you give him a little bit of help. I would have liked to have seen DZ maybe take a bit of a larger claim in the back of Garage, even though the Garage walls were opened up. If they knew that the pressure from OXG was being applied by the server portion, which is archives down below, then maybe just try to kill time. Mint doesn't need to engage. I know that he went swinging, trying to get the pick. I think he downed Laxing, but he hadn't with Fox A. He went for the fight. He knew that it was coming. Laxing or Fox A didn't really seem to have full intel on where Mint was exactly in that room. Sprayed through the wall, and he got a couple hits that were enough to take out Mint on that roll. So honestly, that should have been a DZ round. But it doesn't always work out that way. You are not owed certain rounds, and with it, OXG has managed to keep this somewhat close.
That's the round that the Oxygen really needed to give them a good chance here. Vertical was baiting that C4. You saw him moving back and forth on the rappel. It was not on the window rappel. He was on the sidewall rappel at the angle. So yeah, he was just trying to bait the C4 out, and Vertical was successful. They must have had information on Eclipse inside of admin. Utility wasted. Job done. Eclipse is going to be playing in Projector for his delay job, and this is interesting because last time he played in Projector, he did get shut down by a great push from Slash. And it was actually mostly the success of Eclipse has been when he's allowed to roam free, but he will take an aggressive fight and actually almost land a headshot onto Slash this time, but shot still missed. The goal here of delaying is going to continue for DarkZero. It's on Oxygen to really take this fight.
Utility being dumped out by Vertical, and he's going to challenge Eclipse in this position that Eclipse was so successful in before, which is going to be right over top of the B bomb site. Now, Slash walked in and took out Eclipse in the previous altercation on lobby. That was all the way back in round number 1, and it certainly appears that Eclipse is a wanted man. He's likely going to receive a Selma on the wall. He decides to drop as there's just a ton of noise, and I think that's the right call. Fall off. You've wasted at this point about 100 seconds, minute and 40. And now you stay alive. You can play from another angle. You've still got Mint playing inside a connector with a deployable shield. So even though they took so much time to shake off Eclipse, there's going to be more time required to stop Mint in this spot. And you can hear the telltale signs of the Alda chew away at some of the HP of Foxay. 1 minute remaining, and Foxay is outside. Before OXG got particularly brash, tried to rush in to go for a plant inside of the doorway. I suspect that won't be the case, though they are positioned to do that with Foxay and Slash side by side. Biologic above, he can spring into action inside a meeting whenever he so chooses.
It's a good setup for DZ. Time is not in the favor of Oxygen. They will get the lead-off kill on Houghton. That's big. Gas canister keeping control of the top floor. Another one for Laxing. Min will get the player on the balcony, but at what cost at this point? Vertical gets Hyper as well. Laxing with great entry, and the plant will go down, leaving just Skies with a sliver of HP. He does down Slash, and he'll finish him off, but he's got to find 3 more attackers. It just doesn't seem likely. Again, the discussion surrounding difficult to retake sites, this is certainly one of them. And Vertical, from above, no pun intended, will get the final kill.
So, OXG reads that one correctly, and well, they do exactly the same thing that they did before. Box out DZ on the retake. A couple rounds in that first half, now that it's finished, where we can do a post-mortem into exactly what we saw. And for DarkZero, they had a couple good retake opportunities on a map that, as we need to say time and time again, not always the friendliest to your retake potential on defense. The map is small, it's narrow. The attackers have lots of ways to be able to get out of the bomb site, but still cover the diffuser and the bombs. So that poses a unique problem for those defenders. Still, DZ were able to keep it close with 2 beautiful retakes that happened on both round 3 and round 4. I think you could make a pretty compelling argument that structurally the execute from OXG was mighty fine, but DZ was able to still win the round because their post-plant structure was superior. Regardless, if you were to ask me which team was better during that first half, I would honestly probably give a small edge to OXG, but it's not that far apart. These teams both showed that they are comfortable on Consulate, at least on that role. Now that we've switched sides, maybe Oxygen is a superior team on defense. Maybe DarkZero is a better team on attack. Maybe they mesh well with each other on that previous setup, and now things are going to change. That's what we're going to look out for here. DZ have brought a different lineup than what we saw to OXG. Their players play different roles, so expect to see a litany of different operators being brought from DZ, including maybe even a shield or 2.
Yeah, it's possible, certainly. DarkZero is known to bring the shield, particularly on Mint, but he'll be bringing the Yana for now. And if we're looking at the stats for Consulate, Oxygen tends to fare better on attack. DarkZero tends to fare better on defense, ever so slightly. And that's on past matches for Consulate. So those stats you can use for basic judgment. Ooh, Skies on drone. He won't see Laxing run out right in front of him. He managed to get a kill, and Skies will get off drone and get the refrag. So a little bit of an odd engagement there. Laxing had no idea anyone was on the balcony because he didn't bother to check. He just knew that there was someone on rappel, and he wanted that kill. So even exchange. Vertical going to confront one at top Visa, and he'll lose that fight out to the DMR of Eclipse, who has not been missing his shots through this map so far. That roam clear works out very well in the end, despite losing Hyper, because they're going to get hacked cams and the man advantage quite swiftly.
So OXG will trail, and there you have DZ comfortable on this 3rd floor. Bomb site is the very bottom floor, basement, if you want to call it. And DZ have time to work with. We are just about to hit the halfway mark. And you've got 3 pretty good operators remaining for OXG. A pulse with a nitro cell, impacts to impact trick if required for Bio, and then Slash sitting on the smoke. Not to mention the fact that Bio is going to have the Alda in hands. Bio is the only member of the lobby right now that is still searching for his first kill. You've got to think that for OXG to want to keep this close, they need to be good at it. There goes Dokkaebi. Eclipse was trying to either hack a phone or make a phone call happen. But what doesn't happen is his survival. OXG evens things out at 3 apiece with just a little tiny bit over a minute to go.
Good pick there by the Pulse. Biologic will be forced off thanks to the holes above. Garage wall does get opened up. That's great for DZ's chances in this round. They've got all the right tools for the attack. Oxygen need to do something further beyond that pick that Foxay managed to get earlier to dissuade this assault. So far, none of that coming out. Lots of information gathered by those drones for DZ, and they are set up well for this execution, but they're biding their time and waiting for the right moment. They don't want to take any unnecessary risks.
There go a bunch of smoke. Sounds like it might have been answered by one of the toxic canisters. They all have the same sound. Slash takes a beating for his throw as Mint picks off Biologic. Now Fox is next in line, but a swing from the smoke will net one. Slash will need to clutch out as it's him versus Skies and Hot and Cold. Diffuser has not gone down, and it'll be dropped as Slash looking for a miracle play. He'll have the shotgun out. He's got a control against Skies. He's only got 2 bullets. Only 1 left. 2 seconds, and he'll lose it to Skies. DarkZero takes the first round. A heartbreaker for Slash. Oh, so close.
Great read there from Skies, and yeah, that's certainly a heartbreaker, Parker. You have to imagine, based on the way that Slash played that, he probably would have fared better if he had any weapon with a larger magazine. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place with his weapon selection there. The range, or limited range, of the shotgun and the almost, well, out ammo of his SMG-11. No chance for a reload. What can you really do? Well played, though, to Skies. He definitely controlled that situation better than many players would. Knew exactly what was necessary of him. Landed the shot when it really counted. And DarkZero in general on that execution used their utility exceptionally well. One of the keys to the round is, well, after Foxy gets the pick with the C4, it's even man count. There's only about 40 seconds at this point, but the ace has managed to open up the garage. You do have control of yellow, and the Buck is doing great work opening above, forcing the anchors further back. Now, that buffer that the Buck established by bucking above, forcing the roamers into security, kitchen, all the way back into lockers, actually, even, that buffer allowed DZ a little bit of room to play by the garage breach. And keep in mind, you know, as much as these holes are opened above, and as much as the, you know, garage got opened up, it's only just enough for DarkZero to say they can effectively utilize these advantages. Just barely as they're breaching garage. There's not enough manpower to really use the holes from above. So the impressive part about all of this is it was a standard execution by DZ done with extremely limited manpower and limited time as well. So I got to give massive props to DZ for managing that. It's a bare bones execution. This time they're going to open up the garage first thing into the round.
Yeah, they're not going to waste any time here. I feel like there are great videos that could be made about the prioritization of that garage wall that teams have, because we've seen teams open it immediately and then dawdle for 2 straight minutes, and then we've seen teams do everything but and then open the garage and immediately seize that opportunity. You know, as the old saying goes, 6 of one, half a dozen
Of the other. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See, you got it, Michael.
I did.
You knew. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Anyway. So OXG now realize that they can't move as comfortably near that garage wall. And you've also got a Maestro camera situated right next to it. So if they really want, they can zap away. You've got those 2 Maestro cameras looking at positions where you see default plants go off, and those Selmas are horrifying. Those do not look like they did their job, and I have to suspect that after the first one got opened up, Bio likely impacted both and broke them. So this is going to pose a problem to DarkZero, as they're only going to have 1 entry point to head through.
Yeah, and it's the one in the middle, which is actually probably the most exposed panel of the 3. So this is going to be good for Oxygen when the actual site take comes out. But right now, DZ's just gathering information. They're using their drones to figure out what they're going to deal with on the execution. Now, the longer they wait, the less useful that utility will be, so they'll go right after the drones. Laxing gets 1 on the entry. Here goes the plant. It's over by Trash. Slash will also get another, so the attack is losing manpower swiftly, but they answer back swiftly as well. Even man count here. No plant, though, for DZ. They get off of it, so they have a gun up. C4 does damage, but Hot and Cold wins the fight. Foxy will get Hyper, who was pushed up a little bit too far. Laxing and Foxy now just trying to play passive, and the man advantage now swings to Oxygen. Hotton with a sliver of HP, but he's made his way into Kitchen. This might not be known by Oxygen, as this is a little bit of an odd spot. He was trying to plant so his teammates could cover him, but there's no chance for that now. If that's the pulse above, he'll be using his cardiac sensor, and he'll call it out. Laxing will hear it, and he'll take the fight. Beautiful round there from Oxygen. The attack, losing too much manpower on that push.
So they go to Garage twice. They end up coming out with a victory the second time. And I mean, you have to think that the small changes in the way that OXG read their defense on that very first execute from DZ was a big part of why OXG tightened things up and were able to come away with it. I mean, obviously ignoring the fact that it was a 1v1 where if Slash had 3 shots in that shotgun instead of 2, Skies might not have lived, if you remember. So I liked Oxygen's patience, and I think DZ read it too, you know, getting Hot and Cold off of the plant, allowing him to frag when he knew that the nitro cell was going out and he had to fight back from it, because if he did go for the plant, he would have been picked off immediately. That's a smart choice on his behalf, and obviously one that I suspect he did not make on his own. It was likely aided with the rest of his team. So with that said, I mean, both of these teams proving to be as even as the scoreline suggests. And with that, OXG claiming Garage will look to do what DZ did, which is win a full rotation. Over to Teller's Archives, they'll go for this, technically the second bomb site that they're defending, even though it's the 3rd round. DZ still going to bring a single hard breacher and ace, but take a look at those 2 bottom operators. You got Lion and Ying on the board for DZ to try and take control of the bomb site.
What a pair. We'll see how those change the outcome of this round, for better or for worse. DarkZero could certainly lose out for not having enough utility in other regards. They've got some hard breach, they got a little bit of soft and a little bit of explosive, but less than is typically brought of all 3. So a little bit of a concession, but I think that there's potential here, especially with DarkZero. They typically have a plan for every operator, so if they're going to bring a Lion and a Ying, I'm sure they have a very specific execution in mind. Can't wait to see what it is. Can't wait to see how Oxygen deals with it, too, because Oxygen have been dealing with these fairly well. First Lion charge there, EE1D, and a lot of detections going out. Oxygen are actually all downstairs, interestingly. No roam up top. And once that's established, it'll be good information for DZ, and they'll be able to use those top floors to pressure the site.
Foxy's got the shotgun as well for the pulse. We've seen this a few times recently, where that shotgun underneath at close enough range can be pretty impactful. I mean, yeah, we joke about the UMP's effectiveness as a weapon and how it's not the greatest. You know, a certain player on Space Station has talked about how bad the UMP can be, and I feel like that FBI shotgun is slept on. I mean, the problem with that is that your pulse is, if you're playing any long-range engagements, you're going to lose out on that. Vertical gets a tiny bit of damage now as we look towards the midway point of round number 9, and there goes another EE1D. This one less successful than the first, though it was able to keep the defenders at bay, while DZ harrowingly takes control of Visa. That appears to be the first nitro cell that has had no impact. Likely Laxing, since he's the only one without one. That would be my guess. Still 3 remaining. Make that 2. The pulse from Foxy gets baited into it by Skies playing in the same area. That's 2 nitro cells that Skies has been able to walk away from. And as you can tell, he hasn't taken a single point of damage yet.
There's the plant attempt here from Hot and Cold, and the pulse is going to use his shotgun, as you talked about, from below to get the kill. No C4 necessary. He'll even light up Mint as he attempts to retrieve the diffuser. Cardiac sensor back out, and there's a read, but it's a fake out from the Ying. The Cadellas don't go down where he wants. He's trying to get them through the floor, but the C4 will land, and down goes your Ying. Vertical has been downed as well. DZ, though, struggling with this man count. On top of that, they're running out of time. And look at this. Oxygen are retaking from their site position. They're going to start to retake up top and in the middle floor to pressure these planters. The Pulse is still alive. He's still calling out these attempts. There's even still C4 in play. Nothing going the way of DZ, except for finally something does. There's the Roamer shut down. Slashug eats some damage deep into the site. The Sky is playing the long angle. Will get a kill onto Foxay. He's covering the retreat there over by the Visa stairs. Hyper gets one, and there's the final. It's Mira, who doesn't stop the plant in time. Pistol out there for the assault rifle. Gone out of ammo. Eclipse gets the kill. What an absolute mess. Laxing just trying to bait out, I guess, the entire team shots, but DZ will win it on a plant there, regardless of the disadvantages stacked against them.
Sky's the man of the hour on that one. Just standing in the hallway watching the bomb site, able to also cover over by yellow stairs if somebody was there. And I mean, you could film most of this highlight reel that's rolling across your screen with Sky's performance and his performance alone, playing the angle as the buck. What a hugely impactful round from him. And I know that oftentimes Sky's does tend to get a pretty large spotlight no matter what team he's playing on, but let's take a look at what he did. Number one, he was able to open up the walls over towards the stairway below Visa. It allowed his team a way in. It also allowed them sight lines so they could battle back against any defenders that pushed up from that angle. Sky's dodged 2 nitro cells, which means that those nitro cells that are intended to kill your diffuse planter, in which case it successfully killed Mint when he was trying to drop his Candelas down below, but there were 2 that were no longer available because they got expended trying to kill the buck who danced around them, then opened up the other wall, held angles leading down into the bomb site where he was able to do some damage on those members of OXG that were looking to stop the diffuse from going down, and then also had the retake upstairs at the top of Visa. That is one man stifling an entire team, and you have to give him praise for that. So we talk about how not all your contributions are on the scoreboard. That was a pretty contribution heavy round from Skies, and I think he only ended up getting 2 kills overall. So a lot that he added that isn't shown up on the left side of your screen.
Scoreboard's not always the best measurement of performance. This is the second match in a row, though, for Biologic where he has struggled. Something's going on there. Don't know what it is. He is doing other things, as you talked about, Parker. But yeah, on the actual kills front, he's been having a tough go of it. Now, this lobby defense here, very heavy presence upstairs. Laxing looking to run out by V, so there's no one there to run out on just yet, but probably will be an attacker rotating to the balcony at some point to try and deal with Foxay. Well, DarkZero seemed very focused on CEO. I think they want to do a piano take. They're going to have to confront the top of yellow stairs and this player by base before they can actually execute onto piano, though. That way they don't have to deal with anyone from above.
There's a flash from Bio playing off of this spot on the stairs. He'll juice himself up, expecting a swing from somebody. Another drone will come up that way as well. Bio has vertical watching from behind, and a missed Wamai magnet will need to get tossed on out. The vertical's having a bit of difficulty. Grenade goes off, and not enough being done to Bio to shake him from his position. Slash is down below as well to cover this, but there goes a grenade. Got eaten, it appears, and now it's gone. Another EE1D goes, and DZ are getting caught up way too heavily on these yellow stairs. They don't seem to know what to do next, and struggling to force Bio out of this position as he's aided by both Slash and Vertical means that if DZ reads into this and pushes elsewhere, they're only going to have to tussle against Laxing and Foxay, because those 3 members of OXG all in the same spot are all setting up to protect each other, and Slash gets things started with a pick onto Hyper. Bio finally gets finished off. Sky's a second kill. He's in a plume of smoke, very low on HP. He'll just narrowly evade it. That's Foxay watching, and Foxay finishing it off. How is that for former teammates? And payback for Skies on that previous round. A 3v3 with 45 seconds left. Make that a 2v3 as Slash finds kill number 2. Playing outside with the UMP, and doesn't take too long for him to find number 3. That'll leave Mint in a 1v3. This number, we continuously keep coming back to it. Don't drop out there, Mint. You have so much left to live for. You could clutch this round. You got 30 seconds to go. The diffuser is a country mile away. And picking up on the heartbeat sensor is none other than Slash. He's not going to bother to engage with this. Very smartly, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. He'll let Mint try to attack the A bomb site, but Laxing will be sitting there watching. What a shot from Mint! Beautifully read onto Laxing, finishing off the Jaeger. And now Mint's sights are aligned on the spiral stairs, but he's got only 10 seconds left. Now it's down to 5. Default cam is up. This is an unwinnable situation, and Mint is going to be a sitting duck, with Foxy being allowed to finish things off. Doesn't matter if Slash is the cardiac sensor or not. OXG takes another round. And with that, they're tied up yet again, 5-5.
Great round there from Slash and Fox, both of them putting up impressive performances. Well, you talked about it as it was happening, Parker, and you're absolutely right. The issue there for DZ's attack was that they were too fixated on yellow stairs, and yet they did not have the necessary tools to dislodge the players on yellow stairs. Now, I hear you saying, well, they did manage to do it eventually, and yes, indeed, they did. Skies repelling in from bathroom. Very ballsy play, and one that could have easily backfired, but Skies gets 2 kills out of that. Great. They finally get the yellow stairs control. But at that point, they've already lost a few players. They've already lost plenty of utility, and the struggle is not getting any better for the attack. So, Oxygen take that advantage of the time wasted, the manpower lost, and they turn it into a successful defense, thanks to the well-timed aggression from Slash and the good anchor play, as well as top roam frag from Foxy. We'll go to basement for the next round. Not going to see a pulse here. Finally, that's being shooed on Oxygen's lineup. They will be roaming inside of the bathroom. This is a common roam that we see on the basement defense. Very good at delaying the clear from the top down that the attack always brings out.
5 seconds left.
Cannot get over how close this is right now. Do you think this works out better for DZ or for OXG? Who do you think is the... What do you think benefits from this matchup staying so close?
Well, this is DZ's map pick, so obviously they want the win. But you and I both have seen so many matches where that doesn't matter. So if we go ahead and shoot that, we just push it out of our minds.
Consider it a shoot.
I would say that Oxygen is the one that's benefiting from this being as close as it is. There's a little bit of discussion about this on the lead-in, where I think DZ is the team expected to have the results. They are the team expected to be on the top in this kind of a matchup. And even though Oxygen has proven time and time again that they are a top 4 team in North America, there's still this layer of progress, and I think Veli put this well, that Oxygen has, where they're moving forward. They are getting better match to match. And DarkZero, it feels almost as if they've been on top for a long time, even though technically, if we're looking at the record, it hasn't been forever. It's been long enough. And so, yeah, no, I think Oxygen are probably in a really great place right now mentally. And again, if you're taking a look at the stats, DarkZero tends to fare better on defensive consulate. And they didn't have as much success on their defense as they hoped to. Further, Oxygen, I don't know. They seem like they're playing really well.
I would, Michael, I concur.
Do you concur, Parker?
I concur, Michael.
Excellent.
There
Well,
goes
then
the first.
I'll let you handle it.
Here goes the first bit of contact in front of our eyes as an EE1D goes off. The second one used so far. Nitro Cell from Foxy goes out. Doesn't appear that it connects at all. Hyper actually picks up that first kill as Mint will need to be retrieved. That's a stroke of luck for DarkZero as they open things up. The team that wins this round goes on to match point. It's my favorite round in the entire game. Love round number 11. Now Slash is taking an awful lot of damage, and he'll be finished off once again from above. That's the last Lion charge. That'll be used, and Sky's raining over top of them, just raining hellfire down on this team. We are in round number 11, and Biologic has still not gotten a kill just yet. Watch for a big round from him. He's going to be commanding inside of security with that Alda in hand, and he's going to have even more work to do now as it's just Bio versus Laxing. Laxing will head on back right next to the Alda that we hear going off. Hot and Cold attempting the plant. There's Laxing to punish one. The defuse, damage being done, but no, it's Bio in a 1vx and he loses it. No kills still. That's a rough round for him as the diffuser goes down and DarkZero sits on match point.
Well, we talk about how Oxygen are playing well, and then DarkZero give us a round like that. very close calls for both teams. The confrontation by Bathroom ending up going the way of DarkZero. There was a down there for Oxygen. They did get some damage done, and there was a little bit of time wasted. But all in all, DarkZero won in the end on the top 2 floors. Plenty of time to execute, plenty of soft destruction to do it with. Holes opened above, standard fare. You know how it goes, yada, yada, yada. Garage open, pressure applied, and following that clear, all of the picks go the way of DarkZero 2 in the site. They managed to win all those fights, and well, at this point, it just doesn't seem like Oxygen has much of a chance. So there it is. Easy turn that snowball into a round win. And now, staring down the barrel of the first map going the way of DarkZero. Now, a reminder, this is DarkZero's map pick, as I just mentioned. Map number 2 is going to be Cafe. This was picked by Oxygen, and when we get to it, if we get to it, Clubhouse will be the decider. We've got a really old lineup of maps here. One, of course, that both these teams are really practiced on.
10 seconds left.
That's weird to think about. We used to have new maps all the time, Parker.
New maps are canceled, Michael. That was the agreement we made.
The contract we signed.
Well, a remade Skyscraper is coming out next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've also got you got Chalet, which I mean, I don't know what your opinions are, but I think when we're looking to fill some time with banter, we can discuss the logistics and possibility of that map being added to the competitive map pool versus maybe taking something else out.
We'll see what that is.
Well, I mean, that's a discussion point for us. But anyway, there's a match on the line right now. DarkZero can prevail 7-5, or we'll need 2 more rounds to settle this. If it does go to overtime, Oxygen will be defending twice. And just as we've actually seen a couple times as of late, DZ are defending first on every map. OXG are attacking first on every map. And when it gets to OT, OXG will be defending twice every OT if required. So it's a little fun fact for you here. Some consistency makes it easier.
Yeah, there's a clear preference being displayed from both of these teams, actually. And it's counter to one another. This is a retake here for Oxygen. They're going to try and get back into the middle floor, but it's been spotted, actually. Vertical will be droned out in the main lobby. That is excellent timing for DZ. EE1D forces him to stand still, but he manages to position himself inside of the bathroom before that EE1D detonates. That's well-timed positioning from Vertical. Here comes the Yana clone, trying to bait out Vertical, and it will be successful. Vertical now trapped, and he will be shut down by Hot and Cold. Great read from DarkZero, and ooh, the timing for Hotton. When he sees that one on the VOD, he is going to be upset, I'm sure. But still, the manpower is in favor of DZ as they set up to now execute on the site.
Fox A and Slash down below watching. Nitro Cell on hand for Fox A, and Nitro Cell relaxing as well. It seems to be a similar setup here from DarkZero, as Skies again on this very pivotal role just in the east corridor that's referred to as the hallway, right outside of the bomb site. He can dance around those Nitro Cells. He can prove to be quite valuable. There's another C4 that goes off that doesn't quite find its target. Hot and Cold taking some damage, but it's his time to plant. It's in a pretty common spot. Skies will be the one to watch it. He eats a lot of damage, and Hot and Cold manages to get it down right as Foxay punishes him for it. This is more troubling for DarkZero. Biologic finds his very first kill of the game in round number 12. Is it going to be of high impact? That's the question. Mint spearing somebody over on yellow stairs. It's Bio. He's punished for it. And now Hyper also from above with Skies the lone man sitting, waiting, watching. Mint will be taken out, so it's Hyper and Skies. There's Skies. He doesn't seem to know where Foxay's going. Down goes Laxing as well. Slash in a 1v2, but Slash loses it. Skies another huge round, and DarkZero takes map 1, 7-5.
The patience, the wherewithal, the endurance of DarkZero shows in this map here as they manage to take that, what was a very tight map number 1 on Consulate. They just don't choke. They don't waver at all in the final round.